नाज़रीन आदाब, आलमी मंजर स्पेशल में आज के इस खुसूसी प्रोग्राम में हम स्टूडियो से बाहर निकले हैं। क्यों बाहर निकले हैं? इसलिए कि हमारे दरमियान एक बहुत ही बड़ी शख्सियत मौजूद रहे। ये शख्सियत जिन्होंने आजमगढ़ से अमेरिका तक का सफर तय किया और न सिर्फ उन्होंने वहां पर कारोबार में कामयाबी हासिल की, बल्कि वो एक माहिर तालीम बने। उसके अलावा उन्होंने जो है वहां पर लोगों को मोटिवेट करने में, वहां के लोगों को की रहनुमाई करने में, वहां के अवाम को आगे बढ़ाने में एक बहुत ही बड़ा रोल अदा किया। वो वहां पर बहुत ही ज्यादा पसंद किए जाते हैं। उनकी शख्सियत को लोगों ने माना है और उनको कई अवार्ड से भी नवाजा है। इससे पहले कि हम उनके बारे में और ज्यादा बात करें, आइए सीधे उनसे ही आपको मुलाकात करवा देते हैं। आइए मिलते हैं जनाब फ्रैंक एफ इस्लाम साहब से। Sir, welcome to East TV.
Thank you very much, Manoj. Let me begin by saying that thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Sir, thank you that you have given your time for ETV viewers.
You're most welcome.
And sir, I was just, sir, I was going through your website. I
Sure.
found you are an entrepreneur, philanthropist, civil leader, and thought leader. And I found that you have traveled from Azamgarh to America. It's very difficult to achieve so much success in a distant place, sir.
My story from Azamgarh to Aligarh to America should resonate well with the millions of people across the globe and reaffirms the notion that anything can happen in America, and America is indeed a land of opportunity.
Okay.
It's America's openness and inclusiveness that provided me the opportunity, the ladders of opportunity to succeed. Now, when I became successful, I wanted to give back to the people, to the community, to India, and for that matter, to everyone, especially those young people who can take this from me, inspirations, so they can aim high, work hard, and pursue their dream. Now, I went from Azamgarh, a city that I call a shining city upon a hill. It's a true treasure. It's a precious possession. Its leaders have shaped our history. Its leaders have shaped our destiny. Its principles have always guided us during the time of calm or the crisis. It's Azamgarh which provided me the building block to become an entrepreneur and willing to take a risk and to become so successful. So I owe a sense of gratitude to Aligarh as well as the Azamgarh place of birth. And one of the things that he did, Azamgarh, which my parents, I have to be very thankful to them, is to give them the education that provided me the opportunity to succeed in America.
So, sir, it means that without education you can't do anything. Yeah, I think that's why your emphasis on education is more and more.
Education empowers people. Education uplifts the soul. Education, as President Obama once said, will be the currency of the 21st century. Education frees the human mind from the shackles of ignorance. It's because of education that I am here talking with you. Without that education, I would have never been successful. So if I have to give advice to young Indian, regardless who they are, Muslims or Hindus or any caste and creeds, and I say the following things: get a good education, be the best you can be passionate, be committed, and work hard, aim high, and pursue your dream. But when you become successful, you give the opportunity to others, serve your community, serve your country, so that people can inspire by your story, and that's what makes a more sustainable society.
Yeah, this is what you are doing. You are going back to the society, what
Yes.
the society has given to you. But sir, as far as education is concerned, when we talk about education, now people are thinking just about their career. So sir, we are not finding those values these days. Only career-oriented education, is it a good thing?
Obviously, if you have the education, you have a career, so you become part of the 21st century workforce. As a result of, you can get a job, you can feed your family, and you become part of the fabric, social, economic, political fabric of the nation. But it is also important, what I call pre-K education, pre-kindergarten, which is a 5-year-old and 6-year. The parents need to create an environment for them to flourish.
Right.
They need to tell them that they have the role and responsibility to shape the fate and the future of this nation. But I wanted to emphasize that higher education does not necessarily mean you go to Stanford or Harvard or you go to IIT, but any kind of a training schools you can go to community colleges to get a degree, so you become a part of this workforce so that you can have a job, so you can realize your dream.
So, as you mentioned that America is,
Land of opportunity.
Land of opportunity. So, are they ready to welcome you with open arms, or you have to struggle a lot for?
Well, if you talk to President Obama, he will say that his story can only happen in America. So let me say a couple of things too, and you have a very good point. It's America's openness and inclusiveness that provided me opportunity to succeed. These are the strengths and the values and the qualities that all of us can proudly and truly embrace. And that's what India needs to do. Each and every human being, each and every person has extraordinary potential, and we must exploit those potential, and they have a lot to give to society. But we all in this together, and that's what America does, and that's the lesson that we can learn from America, is to a society that does not discriminate, that does not give people, gives opportunity for people to succeed. It's not the hostility, it's not the prejudice.
फ्रैंक इस्लाम साहब से बातचीत का सिलसिला जारी रहेगा। यहाँ वक्त एक मुख्तसर वक्फे के बाद लौट कर आते हैं। इस खुसूसी बातचीत में आपका एक बार फिर खैर मकदम है। हम गुफ्तगू कर रहे हैं फ्रैंक इस्लाम साहब से। आई थिंक व्हाट यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट टू शेयर द डिफरेंसेस, देन कैन वी have interfaith dialogues? How important is interfaith dialogues if we talk about,
Interfaith dialogue is a cornerstone for what I consider to build the bridges of understanding and cooperations. It must start from the pre-K education. It must start when you're a kid. And we have to, and the media, you, Manowar, can play a very important role in the communal peace and harmony. Because remember, we all in this together. And we have to make the point, as we approach the dawn of this new decade, let us together, and please join me in this journey, so we can together tell these youth they have a future, they have a stake.
Where do you find in next 20 years where youth can have opportunities, in which field they should go ahead?
The education, I think the philosophy is very good, anthropology is good, literature is good, then history reminds us of our past. It also defines our future. But the science, technology, engineering, and math, that's what these youth needs to emphasize, because that will be where they will be able to get a job.
Okay.
And especially in the information technology industry, which is my background, India is the greatest in terms of the providing all over the world people in the science, technology, engineering, math. That's what they need to emphasize.
Can we talk about something about world politics, if you
world politics, which I'm not.
We have heard. Actually, in news, in every newspapers, in media, we know about Abu Bakr Baghdadis, we know about Usamas, we know about Umar, we know about Abu Zawahiri. Why don't we know about Frank F. Islam?
Well, that's a wonderful question. Just now, Frank F. Islam, I hope there are many thousands of people in this country, as well as all over the world, who can inspire the young generations to become who they want to be.
Right.
But I will say this. Our faith, which is the Muslim faith that I believe, I take a lot of pride being a Muslim, it stands for equality, dignity, tolerance, and respect for other faith. We have done that for thousands of years. Unfortunately, these people, as you said, they show a different face of our faith, because they breed violence, and they have become a terrorist. This is not what our faith stands for. This is not who we are. Even Prophet Muhammad, if you remember, had a people under his umbrella, Jewish people and all the other people, and they prospered under all kinds of Muslim empire. So, I have a message for these youth. They have hijacked our faith, and they have no right to hijack our faith. Let us work together, because if we are together, we can build, as Mr. Nehru once said, a noble mansion, so that our children can dwell, so that our children can prosper, so that our children can have a bright future.
Sir, you have traveled all over the world, and
Not every place, but I have traveled enough countries.
Yeah, enough countries. So, sir, how do you find Indian Muslims are different than other Muslims?
First of all, India is the second largest Muslim population of the world.
Okay.
People did not know that, and the first largest Indonesia. Even Pakistan is not the first or second largest. One of the things that I see that India and Indonesia both, and Malaysia is another one, and I'll set aside the Middle Eastern country for a minute.
Okay, sir.
These are the South Asian nation. They have done a great job in eradicating poverty and providing the educations, which, a lack of educations and lack of opportunity breeds violence. So in a democratic country, in India and Indonesia and Malaysia, people have always flourished and prospered because they have a freedom, not a fear. They have a democracy, not a dictatorship. Unfortunately, and we can sit here and talk about it, what happened in Middle Eastern country, and that goes back to Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Afghanistan has a dictatorship also, which is part of Central Asia. Iran is another one. It goes on and on, the Muslims country. They are in the process of embracing what I consider the democracy, but the democracy did not exist. As a result of that, people didn't have the freedom. When they don't have the freedom, they breed to violence, and that's exactly what's happening in the Middle Eastern country, which is a sad and a very it's a sad and sorry spectacle.
We had a discussion on this topic. Why there is more military rules in Muslim countries? Why democratic values are not they are not working on that?
Well, first of all, this nation has been democratic for 67 years.
Yes.
The United States you are the largest democracy, and America is the oldest democracy. We're still experimenting democracy for so many years. Our desire as an Americans will be to make sure that people have a freedom, not a fear. People are living in democracy and in peace and harmony. Why that has been the case for so many years, I cannot go back to the history, but I can always look at the future. Egypt has a new government. Iraq has a new government. Afghanistan, you can look at the brighter horizon. The people elected the new president. So I see a brighter horizon. I see a positive things in that part of the world as a democracy will ring and will continue to ring, so that people continue to flourish.
बहुत अच्छी बात हो रही है, लेकिन यहाँ वक्त एक मुख्तसर वक्फे का हम लौट कर आते हैं। इस खास मुलाकात में, इस खास बातचीत में आपका एक बार फिर खैर मकदम है। हमारे दरमियान मौजूद हैं फ्रैंक इस्लाम साहब। As far as Muslim masses are concerned, they look at America with a little suspicion and all that. They blame for everything in the world on America. How do they think about Muslims?
It's just not they, it's the whole Western countries.
Okay.
What ISIS and ISIL is doing in Syria and Turkey is a totally barbarian. They're violent. They're killing innocent human beings. They have no right to do that. So when things like that happen, people in the Western country derive the notion that all the Muslim is the same way.
Okay.
Because they're narrow-minded, they don't think out of the box, they don't think this is not what the Muslim faith stands for. But I tell you one thing, President Obama understands it. Our leadership in the Senate and the Congress understands it, and they're doing everything possibly they can to eradicate this notion that all the Muslims embrace the violence. This is not who we are, and this is not what America is. But we, as in America, should show a different face of America, a face of America that is engaging, a face of America that we can engage the public, a face of America that is not violent, a face of America that's a kinder and gentler. And President Obama is doing a lot of things in that area. But when you're a powerful country, when you're militarily powerful, you are forced to go to the war sometime. Do I subscribe to the war? No. Do the Americans subscribe to the war? No. This is not who we are as American. American people are the most kindest and gentlest people you ever met.
So your journey from Azamgarh to America, we left it behind. briefly, if you can tell us how you started and how you achieved that.
I was born in Azamgarh, and I went to school there. Then I went to Aligarh to get some education. As a matter of fact, I went there with my wife Debbie, who happens to be American. Went there and also talked to the vice chancellors. And I intend to do something at Aligarh Muslim University to establish a school there, which is a management school on our name. That's our intention is, and we'll have to work out the details. And
Very good.
I also intend to build a school in the village that I was born in Azamgarh. Then after I left Aligarh,
So
which
this
was
is giving back to the system.
giving back, what I call sharing and giving back.
Yes.
And I always cherish my family's finest tradition: sharing, loving, caring, and giving.
Lovely.
And that's what our Quran says. That's what President Kennedy said: "To whom much is given, much is expected." I was fortunate enough; people helped me. People have given me the opportunity to succeed, and a lot of people helped me. My wife, my colleagues, my professors, people like yourself. It is time for me to give back to the society.
How do you find this new government?
Well, first of all, I did not get a chance to see the Prime Minister, but I do know him. And he represents the constituency of Varanasi, where I grew up. So we have a lot of things in common. What Prime Minister has done is provided a sense of optimism, a sense of hope. He's a charismatic leader. He's a smart, he's a savvy. He is created environment for the people to excel, to reduce the red tape, to reduce the bureaucratic way of doing business, to improve the infrastructure. So he has done a lot of things, but it takes a lot of time to move a mountain, and this is the mountain. but I'm
You
very
need out of the box idea.
Oh, he has a good idea that I can give you two things that he has done, which is sanitation.
Okay.
Clean India. To me, that is a very, very, very important. It also, the most important thing, being a clean is very important. It's good for your health, it's good for sanitation condition. It's also good for the environment.
Right.
In addition to that, made in India. That is a manufacturing hub in India.
Make in India.
Yeah, make in India. I made in India, where
Yes.
the way. Those are two things that he has done. In addition to creating environment, being what I consider the new way of doing a business, creating a business environment, attracting the investment in these nations, and also improving the infrastructure, which is committed to do. But he created a sense of energy, a sense of optimism, a sense of hope that we all in this together. Let's work together. Let us make this country, as John Winthrop said in 1632, our America is shining city upon a hill.
Sir, you rightly mentioned that lots of good things are happening since Narendra Modi ji has come, as far as Muslims are also concerned, because when he spoke to Fareed Zakaria, what he said about Muslims, do you agree with it?
Give Indian Muslim youth a hope, your hand, your help, your vision, your values, and your voice, so that they can become Prime Minister Modi one day. They can become a part of the social, economic, political fabric of this nation. And they can be one day become a prime ministers, and empower them with education.
Right.
Because they lag behind. That means give them the opportunity to succeed. So to me, and I will continue to make that point, all these reservations, things like that, give opportunity to the Muslims, as well as they are left behind. They confront hostility and open prejudice, and especially the young. Give them a hope, give them help, give them your vision, that we all in this together, we're going to build this nation, and you're going to be part of that, and you're going to be prosper, and you will become one day the Prime Minister. I think what we need to do as Indian Muslims is to not complain or criticize, but collaborate, communicate, be compassionate, be concerned, be caring.
Thank you, Mr. Frank, for talking so.
Oh, you're most welcome.
decently
Appreciate it.
and giving so much inputs to our youth, and I think you must have inspired them a lot. And as poet says, कि उनका जो काम है वो अहले सियासत जाने, मेरा पैगाम मोहब्बत है जहाँ तक पहुँचे. नाज़रीन, आज आलमी मंजर स्पेशल में हम थे फ्रैंक इस्लाम साहब के साथ, जो इंस्पायर करना चाहते थे उन नौजवानों को, पूरे मुस्लिम दुनिया को, और बताना चाहते थे कि अगर आप मेहनत करना चाहें, आप आगे बढ़ना चाहें, ہیں تو دنیا آپ کے لیے باہیں جو ہے کھولے کھڑی ہے. آپ بس کوشش کیجئے, محنت کیجئے, تعلیم کی طرف بڑھیے اور اپنے کیریئر کو بنانے کے لیے جو کچھ کر سکتے ہیں نیک نیتی کے ساتھ وہ کیجئے. اگلے ہفتے پھر عالمی منظر میں کسی نئے موضوع پر بات کریں گے. تب تک کے لیے تحسین منور کو اجازت دیجیے. آداب.